Going back to one of our top stories now, the Council for Geoscience says that the seismic event that rocked parts of Gauteng in the early hours of this morning is officially an earthquake. The council says it's registered a local magnitude of 4.4. The epicenter was located in Boksburg. Investigations will be conducted to determine the cause of the earthquake. Let's now unpack this with the geologist, Dr. Gideon Groenewald. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Residents of Gauteng were left shaken at the wee hours of this morning when this earthquake struck. What should we essentially make of it?
Well, I think from my point of view, sitting very far away from the Pretoria people who monitor these things, I think we are probably looking at a reshuffle of the plates of the earth as these earthquakes are related to. We had some very, very serious earthquakes in Turkey where the African plate was involved. We had some serious earthquakes last night on the boundaries between plates south of South Africa. So I do think that we are looking at some of these plates slightly moving, and we do have a very strong fracture that runs, we know this from history now, that runs from Mozambique down into Botswana, then past into Joburg. There's a slight possibility that the mining activities could enhance earthquakes, but this one being at 10 kilometers underground, I also believe that we are looking at a real earthquake. It's not just a reshuffle of the mining, the places that were mined. I think we are looking at a serious earthquake, probably related to the latest big earthquakes that happened in Turkey and other places on earth.
Yeah. In trying to establish what exactly triggered this earthquake, I mean, you make mention of something interesting. On one end, we talk about perhaps was it a result of mining activity or the movement of the tectonic plates, because it's striking that almost 50 earthquakes were reported across the world at around the same time. Is this now an indication that there was indeed a movement of the tectonic plates?
Yeah, I think personally, we definitely, your mine earthquakes happen all the time in Joburg. We have earthquakes all the time, but these earthquakes are low on the Richter scale. Just again for the viewers, earthquakes are measured on the Richter scale, which is an exponential scale, which means a 4 on the Richters is close to 10 times less than a 5, and we are close to 5 with this one, according to some reports, and according to the official one, 4.4, but 4.4 means we are round about 4 times stronger than a 4. Now, my experience listening to reports from the mining tremors in Joburg, we're looking at 2.2s, 1.8s and things like that. So I think we are now looking at a serious earthquake again. Now, this can be enhanced if some of these mining areas underneath where the epicenter was, if some of these structures fall apart and subside, then the effect will be much bigger in terms of the earthquake. But we will have to see what the geoscience people come up with in the next day or two on what really caused the intensity of this specific earthquake. It lasted, with people I've spoken to, about 6 minutes. Now, that is a very serious earthquake. It's not something to joke about.
Perhaps some clarity, Dr. Groenewald, on what happens when tectonic plates move.
Well, what people must realize, there's a boundary between tectonic plates. And I always say to children, wherever people are living, where we breathe air, we are sitting on parts of the globe, the crust of the globe, that sticks out above the sea, and these things all move. So if one of them move, it's like plates in your washing basin. If you wash your plates and you move one plate, remember the earth is made out of rock. So if you move one, all the others needs to move sometime. So unfortunately, this plate that we are on, the one that comes through the Mozambique part of the world, coming through Joburg and down to East London, that plate was very quiet for many, many hundreds of years, and I am living in the last of my years on life, and only now in the last 10 years I've seen an increase in these larger activities in Orkney. Then the other day, KwaZulu-Natal had 2 earthquakes, with a together fault zone. This is another one indicating that we are looking at a slight increase in our plate also now becoming active. And it's part of life. It's part of geology, and I think we're going to experience this. It will happen over hundreds or 200s of years, so it's not every day, but we are going to experience more of these things now.
Yeah. There's been no reports of significant damage. I mean, you mentioned what happened near Orkney in 2014, where lives were lost there. I also know that the relevant authorities at the moment are still conducting comprehensive damage assessments. Are we perhaps likely to experience aftershocks over the next few days?
Yeah, it is likely. What I experienced from listening to these reports over the years, the aftershocks are smaller than the main ones. So I wouldn't expect anything larger than this one. And the smaller ones will be like a bus or a train, not even a train going past your house. This one, I think, would have more felt like a Boeing coming to land. And that's why lots of people actually felt this one. The others, if there are heavy traffic, what I realized with the COVID time, people were bound to their houses, and they heard these things much more. But now with the activities back, we don't hear the small ones, so we only realize these big ones now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, giving us a thorough breakdown there. Geologist Dr. Gideon Groenewald, trying to help us make sense of the earthquake that we felt at the wee hours of this morning.